Oh, I just banged the mic. I shouldn't have done that.
We just turned the mics on right after you banged it.
Oh, good. Okay, so the mics are on. I just banged the mic and and it could have made a loud noise. So up to episode 71 of the Infra-Red podcast. Tonight we have Nicholas on, who came on last minute and saved the day for us because we had some guests reschedule and stuff like that. But Aloof. So let's get the ball rolling. How do you come up with the name Aloof? It's a unique, pretty cool name.
It's a bit of a homage to my mum, I guess, but I was always described as being a bit of an aloof child, like kind of doing my own thing.
Okay, I don't even know what the word aloof even means. Like,
I think if you Google it, means
Damo, search it up.
I think it means cool and distant. But I think if you describe someone as being aloof,
it means very uncaring. That's how it's, but not friendly or forthcoming.
I think as far as my understanding of it goes, is this kind of does their own thing.
That's still pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no one else has got a name similar to that, so big ups to that. Yeah. So the music industry and entertainment and nightlife and everything like that. Because you were saying before we started, you're from Margaret River, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Bustleton, and it's like we've both come up to the big city to make a name for ourselves, right?
Well, we're trying.
Yeah, trying. That's it. Yeah, and trying is half the battle. So, like, how did you fall into all of this and everything? Because you've played at some big places, haven't you? Like, you've done quite a few gigs for like quite a few big names.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had fun. I think I've always kind of had a passion for music, but growing up, my brother's like 10 years older than me, and growing up as a kid, always watching my brother like playing gigs and touring and doing all that kind of thing. And I was like, hey, that looks kind of fun. And we weren't such a musical family. Like, I learned guitar in the first couple of years of high school, but I ended up dropping it because my guitar teacher was a creep. And then,
lovely.
Yeah. And then I tried to pick up like percussion, and I don't know, just couldn't hack it, I guess. And then just kind of left it alone for a while, I guess. And then after I finished my trade, I guess I already had like decks and everything when I was living down south. Like one of my mates and I think we went out one weekend in Perth and watched, like, I don't even remember who it was. And we watched someone and we're like, that's it, we're going halves in like a set of CDJs. So, and like we had no idea what we were buying.
Yeah.
Like, I think we bought, what year would it have been? Maybe like 2015. I think we bought 2 CDJ 1000s, so like the CD player ones.
Oh, really? Yeah, with the white dot EQ, right? Yeah, the old school ones.
And a DJM 800. So that's actually a fine mixer.
Yeah, 800s are good.
And yeah, we had no idea what we were doing for ages. And like the decks lived at my place just because my mate Adam didn't have room for them. And like all I would do after getting home from work was just mess around with like, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what like music I was trying to mix or how to do it.
You're just playing tunes. Like.
And then I kind of like tried to teach myself how to do it. And I understood like what beat matching was and like how to count bars and everything. And just like with no visual cues like those CDJs have, it was a little bit difficult.
Well, yeah, because you can see like Damo just had the image just back there.
Yeah,
it's literally just like the little white dot EQ. There's no equalizer, or you can't. It's almost impossible. You just got to know your music.
And like the original thing I had trouble with was like, like
that, like that's
like starting a track and not realizing that it wasn't the start of the first bar. And then I was like, start the track and be like, oh yeah, it's on time. Like I've hit the one with it, and then just being like, that I don't know what I'm doing. And then when I moved up to Perth, I sold those because they were way too bulky.
Yeah, and they're 1000s.
Yeah, and then started working up here and didn't really have. I mean, I was going out a little bit, and then I can't even remember who I saw. It must have been like Delta Heavy or something.
Oof.
And I just like reignited my love for mixing. So I just like within the next couple of weeks bought. I think it was a XDJ RX. Which is like a all-in-one. And
those are good.
I was thinking it was perfect. and then just started messing around at home, just mixing with mates. And then I was like a little bit fed up with, I wasn't really going anywhere with it. So I actually did Lab 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how would you rate that? Like, what course in Lab 6 did you do? The DJ
I just
or
did,
the
I just
production?
did the DJ one.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted, mainly for networking, because I already had like quite a good idea of how to mix, but I didn't know anyone. I had like no idea of like any names in the bass scene here. So I was just like, I need to do something about this. And then I went to Lab 6 and I got taught by Paulo. So
Paulo.
DJ Midsole.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't think I've
He's
heard
like
of him.
WA DMC scratch champion. Like,
Oh.
I don't know how many times in a row, but
Okay, I
he
got to
went-
get him on here.
he went to Melbourne and I believe London to compete at it as well.
No shit. All right.
Yeah. he's
That's
very-
pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm hopeless at scratching, but
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. Honestly, it's pretty like if you don't do it right, you kind of just ruin everything
Yeah.
almost.
and then I completed that course, and I think my first gig after Lab 6 was actually something. I think it was Hyperfest for my brother runs Hyperfest, and
What your brother runs Hyperfest?
yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I've played a Hyperfest before 2012.
Oh right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
good like networking right there.
Yeah. And then I think it got cancelled like a week beforehand because they had like a headliner pull out and then just like everyone sold tickets. So
Yeah.
it just wasn't profitable. I mean, it's a government
Yeah, exactly.
funded festival anyway, but
And it's all ages as well, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I think they lost the headliner and had to cancel. So I was pretty bummed about not getting my first gig. And then kind of was a bit upset about that. And then it wasn't until like, that was like pretty late in the year. And it wasn't until the year after, I think it was the start of 2019, that I applied for like a Society Fresh Faces night.
Yeah, Society. I
Yeah.
remember hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Hearing about them.
I got a message from one of the guys that run it, Matt, and he was like, "Hey, I've listened to some of your mixes. They're really good. Do you want to jump on for like an open set for this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like so excited and also extremely nervous. So I played that set, and I'd also applied for that Your Shot competition, and got in for both, which was. Yeah, I was very surprised. And then
Well, you know, it's just like your brother in a way, like, you know,
Yeah.
if he was mixing when you were younger and stuff like that, you know, it kind of runs in the family almost.
and then I got a gig straight after that Society gig for Filth. Like my second gig apart from Your Shot was a Filth gig playing a side room, and I was like, what happened? What did I do? How did this happen?
Yeah, one after the other.
Yeah.
And Filth's pretty big. Like,
Damien approached me after that Society Fresh Faces gig and was just like, "Yeah, you're playing Filth next weekend." And I was like, "Oh damn!"
okay.
Yeah, and then I got booked for a bunch more societies after that. I think I supported like Made by Suki, Sippy.
Sippy as well,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Who else did I support? A few of the locals nights, a few of the back-to-back locals nights. What else did I do? There was like a few more Filth gigs I played during that year. I got to play the Filth birthday show, which had like Subtronics and Ash.
Was that at Optus Stadium?
No, this was at the Court, but they had like the whole venue. They had like the car park venue open as well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. And then, I don't know. It's just been like a fairly constant stream of people asking me to play deep dubstep, which has been great.
Well, that's the thing is like from what I've realized as well, it's like dubstep. It's not that it's had its moment, but it's like it's big, but at the same time, it's like the DJs inside the scene. It's like
It's a cult status now.
No, it's not cold. No, I wouldn't say that. It's still big. I just mean like it's like I don't even know how to say it. It's like it's not an acquired taste, but it's like if you can do it and you do it well, then you're gonna do really well, kind of thing in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a testament to all the guys in Immerse promotions at the moment. Because like Tanner, which is Banksy, just unbelievable production and like DJing. Same for Jordan, which is Shocks.
Yeah.
Just absolutely unbelievable. And like some of the other like up and comers in like that scene as well, like Dane Archibald, which is Danye, Jared Laurie, which is Chef.
Haven't heard of those guys. But they're up and coming names though.
Yeah, they're just like ridiculously good, and I do like that like heavier dubstep, but I much prefer mixing deeps and grime and drill.
Yeah,
I just have way much more fun doing it.
What's drill?
Drill's like a different style of, I wouldn't call it grime. It's like UK hip hop, I suppose.
Okay.
So like grime's a bit more like 16 bar oriented. 140. Drill's a bit more like free form, I suppose. But it's drill's like there's not much break in between it. It's more like a constant. There's no like 16 bar segments. It's just like all powers through. It's fun music though. I really enjoy. Because
that's the thing. There's so many genres have popped up. Like it's like with dubstep as well. It's like it went from like liquid dub and like just I can't remember the other ones, but now it's like there's trench and there's like grime, like you were saying as well, and like
grime is in just like grime, like UK hip hop.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. There's, as far as I know, the biggest dubstep genres at the moment are like obviously rhythm. A lot of people call it bro step, which is just like like Zomboy, like
and Skrillex and stuff like that. Yeah.
Melodic dubstep. Then you've got like
liquid as well,
like future rhythm or like melodic rhythm. So that's like people in Perth that have made that pretty popular. It's like definitely Banksy and Finn.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so nuts though as well, because it's just like dubstep just like kind of birthed in a way in Perth in a way.
Oh yeah,
like,
I remember.
Like it just blew up, and it's like not many places around the world kind of played it in a way, and then it just like now it's everywhere. It's America. Like America plays all sorts of fucking like dubstep festivals and gigs and all sorts of shit. Like because Excision kind of had his own sound, but then it kind of just like something happened, and now it's like his Excision shows. It's just like
I think comparatively, like the US scene to here is substantially different. Like, I don't know. I can even tell just by like looking at the crowd, like, and even when I've been to like an international festival and like seeing Americans there compared to like people that like Australians or like anyone else, like Europeans or anything. Like Americans love headbanging. Like when they're holding on the front row and just like just headbang the shit out.
Nothing
like, against it, but it's definitely not for me.
No, it's not for me either. It's just one of those things though. They just go all out almost.
They really do. Like we met up with some like American friends whilst we were at this festival, and like they kept trying to make me headbang, and I was like, I'm good, eh?
What festival was this again?
Rampage.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before. Damo, can you look that up? Yeah, didn't you say it was like a 30,000 bloody event? Like,
I think it's like 30 to 45,000 people over 2 nights in a really big sporting arena.
That's just nuts.
I went to the 2019 one.
So just before they cancelled the 2021.
Yeah.
So you got lucky.
And it was ridiculous. Like I've never been to something of that kind of caliber. Like I've been to big festivals here, big like club nights and everything. I've been to like the Division stuff, like in the Gloucester Park, like under the stands. And that was huge, but like nothing compared to this.
Look at that.
I think that the weekend that we were there, they spent something like 2 to 3 million euro just on lighting and sound.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
holy shit! But you can kind of see like from look at the lights, like the lasers are everywhere.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Alex Perez and Skeptical played a back to back, and they started on the first night and like you see the big like screen things above everyone.
These ones?
Yeah. They just move up and down a lot, and like when you walk in and like open, they're like all the way down the bottom, like just normal ceiling height. But as the DJs start to play heavier music, they raise up. And like I remember Alex Perez and Skeptical walking on, and I think they played like Brethren Inferno with T-Man as like one of their first tracks, and like super fitting for the name Inferno, but like the big X behind where the DJs were just like burst into flames.
Oh, really?
And we were like, what on earth?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Excision played that weekend as well, and we were on the stands for a bit, just taking a break. We're like, oh, we may as well go down into the pit to watch Excision, and like we were still pretty far back because it was just way too crazy up the front. And I remember looking up, and like the screens that were above me were playing the audio visual show as well. So I was just like,
everything's just like
just like
lit up.
just like a big T-Rex like shooting cannons at you. And you're like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, this is very unique. Like,
Yeah.
Well, like, yo.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's like above you as well. It's ridiculous.
But it'd just be so nuts though, being in it. Like, how far away were you from the main stage? Like front row.
We were like maybe in the middle somewhere.
It's just like in the middle of like just 30,000 people. Like you just. That's hectic.
Yeah, see how
So
the screens played the same thing? Yeah.
That's one thing that's always worried me in a way. It's just like, what happens if you need to go to the toilet and you're stuck in the middle of all those people? Like,
there's plenty of toilets there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like to try and like segue and go get out of the crowd though and then get back in, like.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. Yeah, I bumped into like I didn't know Michael very well at that time, but I knew of him just through like music, I suppose. And I bumped into Michael Caird like whilst I was walking to the bathroom at Rampage. I had no idea he was going to be there. And I was like walking around and I was like, know that guy? Just walked up to him and was like, hey man. And he's just like, hey, are you from Perth? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, sweet. He's like, that's weirded me out a lot. And then we hung out for most of the weekend. It was really
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, I still haven't met that guy, but like he's made a lot of moves through Perth. Like a lot of traction.
Yeah, he's in the UK at the moment.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah.
Really? Shit. Even through COVID, he was in the UK.
He just maybe start of the year moved over.
Okay.
Yeah.
No way.
Actually, maybe before that. I think he spent Christmas and New Year's with his like fiance in the UK.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. All right. So like before we started, you were saying how like you've got the trade and you're a chef, right?
Yeah.
And so what drove you to get into the hospitality industry? And like, did you do any other jobs before that, or like what kind of steered you into the late nights?
I'd worked hospitality like when I was in high school, just doing like barista stuff. And
yeah.
It was, I don't know, just like for extra money, I suppose. And then I actually finished high school with like quite a good ATAR and just didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I think it was...
That's like everybody though.
Yeah.
Like no one knows what to do.
I just didn't really do anything. So I was just like, I'm going to take a gap here and like just figure out what I want to do. And then one of my family friends was like over one night for like drinks or something. And was just like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. He's just like, just do a trade. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do a trade. He's like, no, trust me, just do a trade. And he's like, what do you like? And I was like, I don't know. I was like,
food.
I was like, I like cooking and like I like food. And he's just like, perfect. I've got like a mate that's looking for an apprentice. And I was like, I kind of wanted a gap here, but okay. So, I started when I was 17 as a chef, and I'm 25 now. So like 8 years of cooking.
And have you enjoyed it so far and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, being an apprentice was a little bit rough. So in terms of your cheap labor. Well, I mean, like cheap-ish labor, but you get worked a lot because you're the cheapest in the kitchen.
That's
like,
yeah.
I remember a lot of the time I was getting paid less than the kitchen hands, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not on, but you know, it's how it is though sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of the time I was getting paid less than the kitchen hands, and it was just a bit disheartening, I suppose. But after I qualified, it was good. I definitely had a lot of good experience working in kitchens down south because, like working winery kitchens, it's like you only work lunch.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
it.
You're on a salary and you go to work from 7 until 3, and then you go home.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you still get like 2 days off a week. Yeah, it was
You
great.
just live it up. It's just like one big holiday almost.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I used to surf a lot when I was doing that, so it's like perfect lifestyle for that.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of being a chef though. Having a trade in that, it's like you can tour the world. Like,
Yeah.
You can literally just go, okay, I'm gonna go. Like I've got a friend who like it's quite funny. He actually bullshitted that he worked in a few places around Australia and stuff like that. But he went to Japan. He's like, I've worked here and here and here. And it's like, these are my qualifications. I've been doing. He was like a chef for like 10 years prior though. But then it's just like, well, I don't know where that is, but yeah, you're hired kind of thing. And he went from Japan to Korea to Vietnam and then to, I think maybe even Singapore as well or something like
nice.
that. Yeah, he's just like all of Asia. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to travel the world cooking one day, I suppose. I mean, I'd love to travel the world touring as well, but...
but the thing is that you got the opportunity though. You can, like,
Yeah.
once COVID's over and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't cooked internationally before. When I was in Japan, I spoke to some people over there that were like working hospo that were Australian. They were like, yeah, pay's not very good, but I mean, you get to live here. So I was like, sounds like a decent trade-off.
Yeah. So what was Japan like? Because I've never been. I've always wanted to go to Japan. Beautiful? Like, you can eat off the floor?
Yeah,
like,
definitely beautiful. I wouldn't eat off the floor though.
Yeah.
But,
I've been told that it's that clean though.
Yeah.
You can basically...
yeah, it is very clean. When I was there, it was late Jan, early Feb, so it was very cold still. Well, I mean, I went there to snowboard, so I'd hope so.
Yeah.
I only spent like, when I first got there, I was there for like 3 weeks. I spent 1 or 2 days in Tokyo just to kind of like get rid of my jet lag and figure out what was the go in this country, because I didn't... It's like going to like a country that is based off a Latin language is so different to going somewhere where it's just not Latin at all. Like, most people know hello or hi or like bye there.
Yeah,
but
basic English kind of thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
And like, one thing I learned whilst being there is that all of the tourism staff know enough English to like get you by, which is a very, very helpful tip. But yeah, understanding things, like looking at a packet of something and just being like, that's in kanji and I have no idea what that means. It's like, I'm going to guess that's what I need.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a beautiful country.
Something that just spins me out though is 'cause I've been to China 4 times for like business and stuff like that, my parents' company, and it's opposite. It's just filthy in China. Like it's more than filthy. Like people just spit on. Like I've been to a restaurant with bleached white carpets, and someone's eating a steak with a cigarette in his hand, and he just spits on white carpet. And it's like, okay, like it's just a normal thing to do in a way. Like, like I've got stories about that. It's
I mean, you can smoke inside most places in Japan. I mean, most restaurants, yes, I think.
But they've got that level of etiquette though, right?
Most of the ones I went to, you could smoke inside. And yeah, I mean, the only like weird things I saw, which it wasn't really that weird, I suppose, was that like semi late at night, you've been like near train stations, and there'll just be like old Japanese men that are just shit faced, like stumbling around, spewing. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, I saw it more than 5 times whilst I was there. It's like walking around, there's just a bloke like passed out on the floor, and you're like, the first time I saw it, I was kind of concerned, and then I saw it a lot more, and like everyone else just walked past him. I was like, must be normal.
Because I've been told that they drink a lot and they just party. Like they go out. Like,
as far as I understand, a lot of the, like, if you see people that are suited up and they've been like, I like that. Apparently, it's like really ill-mannered if you don't accept your boss's offer to go for drinks. So if you don't go out and drink with your boss until he's finished drinking, you can lose your job or something. So like, yeah, it was confusing.
That's a bit whack, because what happens if you're extreme lightweight and it's just got to keep up in a way? Like,
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
And toughen you up in a way, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there was some pretty crazy drinks you could buy in Japan. Like,
well, I'm just baffled even with soju. Like, I only just stumbled upon soju like the last year.
Yeah.
And it's so strong, and it just tastes like just nothing almost.
Yeah, they have this like soju drink, or I mean like rice alcohol drink called like Strong Zero over there. And it's like, you can buy it in a few different strengths, but like the strongest one I think is 13%, and it's got like every flavor under the sun you could think of. So you just like choose whatever flavor you want in whatever percentage you want. It goes up in like 3s, I think. And then they come in pint cans. So it's like you have like 2 of those, and you don't need anything else.
Yeah, that's it. You buckle. I mean, 13%, like 11%, like
it's like drinking a like bottle and a half of wine just in like 10 minutes. Yeah,
in a pint. Like,
it's pretty crazy. They give a extremely bad hangover though, but yeah.
All right, let's go back onto the music then as well.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges that you found when trying to start DJing and getting into it? Because like as you said, like you started on 1000s, and 1000s are difficult to learn.
Yeah.
But like when you got your RX as well, like what were some of the things that you had trouble with? Like, did you learn much from doing the Your Shot competition at all? Like how would you rate that?
Learning, I didn't really feel like I learned too much from Your Shot. I think it was more just like networking, more than anything.
It's so surprising because like I've had quite a few guests on, and they've all said similar things. It's like you go and do Your Shot, and they don't really teach you everything.
So because I was in the wild cards because I had a bit more experience.
Yeah.
Our training consisted of a single, I think it was like 2 hours of just going into like their training space and just being like, yeah, you can sort your music and then like play it into your headphones if you want. But, like you can't play on a loudspeaker. I was like, can I go?
Yeah, like why is this? This is not useful. Like,
yeah, it's like they're like, oh, it'll give you a good feel for like using the competition equipment. And I was like, I have this at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it would be good for some people, but
then also because you're a wild card, they might have changed the curriculum maybe a little bit up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've been told that they don't even teach like harmonic mixing or anything like that. Like you don't learn keys or anything.
But I can't speak for that because I never went through it. But the instructors seemed pretty decent. Like
like Tina says, she's a really good girl.
Yeah, and Mike DeWet was another instructor,
and he's just a downright legend in the scene. Honestly, like
Troy Division was the other one as well. Yeah. So I don't know if you know him, but
I've heard of him.
Used to be like the editor of Pile Rats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Might have to try and hit him up as well and get him.
I think that's why I got into that competition, because he knows my brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I like sat down. He was my interviewer. I sat down. He interviewed me, and he like picked up my like little like details thing. He's just like, "Oh, Skinny's brother," and I was like, "Oh."
So here's one for you. Have you played Hyperfest yet? If your brother runs the show, like.
I haven't actually had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because everyone's been. The first one that I was supposed to play was a bit of a bummer because they like had the one of the headliners pull out, which can't do much about.
That's exactly it, yeah.
And then the last one that was supposed to happen cancelled before COVID.
Yeah.
And then the ones that he's done recently, he hasn't had any DJs on because it's been more of a focus on
the bands and stuff.
Which I was completely cool with.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he hasn't been able to do the festival for like 2 and a bit years, so
that's it. Yeah, and it's just everything is so up in the air with just everything at the moment.
Yeah, I did get to do something pretty cool with him because he just launched his own label, called Side Quest.
Okay,
and he was like more of like a band management and like music label kind of deal. So he manages Sly Withers, Ursula and Flossie, some more like local bands. I'm
Yeah,
sure you've heard of Slide With Us before.
And I'm pretty sure I've heard of Flossie as well, actually. Have you pulled it up, Damo? Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Fuck
So,
yeah.
I got to play a set at his first event for Side Quest, which was Side Fest.
Nice.
At other Side Brewing in Fremantle. The
Other side, whereabouts is that? That's
Frio Social.
okay.
Yeah, it's like the same business.
Okay.
So, I didn't get told until like 2 days before that I was going to be playing with him because like I was looking at the set times because I had no idea I was playing that before, and it was like DJs band question mark and then Sly Withers, and I was like, where's this special guest?
It turns out it's you.
And then he was like, 2 days before, he's like, I was thinking we could play like a special back-to-back together. And I was like, it's actually really nice.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We just played some like just fun party music and some jams we've been into. And it was great. It was a great night. Heaps of fun.
So with your music taste as well and like your progression, like did you start like what were you when you had the 1000s, what were you playing? Were you playing drum and bass and stuff like that, or
I was playing mainly like bro steppy stuff, I guess. Like older dubs. I mean like maybe be classed as bro step now, but
stuff like, you know, old school Flux Pavilion, like
mainly
Club,
like Lax, Schism.
Yeah.
I ended up getting into like Noisia as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably pretty difficult music to mix when I don't know what I was doing. But it was a bit of fun anyway. I ended up getting like really into like Black Sun Empire.
Yeah, they were so big at one stage.
Yeah.
I remember when they used to just they were coming here for they did a few shows here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They just sell out.
Yeah.
Like, they just
I grew up like not listening to any of that kind of music as well. Like mainly like, I don't know, alternative, post-hardcore, like all that kind of stuff. And then
it's so crazy how that kind of works though, right?
Yeah.
Because I was the same. Like when I was growing up, I was all, you know, I was into Korn, Marilyn Manson, Linkin Park, like, you know, more of the heavier side of metal in a way.
Yeah.
And then now I'm a fucking pop DJ.
Yeah, I think my favorite band growing up was Alexis on Fire, actually.
Yeah, no shit, yeah. I used to listen to them back in the day as well, actually.
Yeah, and then I don't even remember when I started liking electronic music, but I think it was just like one weekend I came up to Perth with like a group of mates and we went out for something. I'm like thinking it was like the Upbeats or maybe even BSE, and like watching that and just being like, yep, this is what I like now.
This is my segue into into my new taste, like.
Yeah.
And then like, how did you get into dubstep after that as well? That just started like rolling off as well, like.
I mean, I always kind of knew of dubstep, like old bangers. Like, actually, I still play my sets, but like Rusko Woo Boost.
Such a classic.
Yeah,
such
like old Casper tracks.
Yeah,
Hellfunk.
Cockney Thug and stuff like that. They're Casper remix. Yeah.
So like, I already knew all of those, but I guess, I mean, I liked them, but I didn't really have any interest in mixing them. And then, I think it was like, do you know of Joel Gambin?
Yeah. I've heard of him.
So I remember watching him mix at Basement back in the day, and just being like, that was like sick. That like really, really liked that. I remember he put out this mix a few years later, and it was this like Gamma Files or something or other dark mix, and it was like all 140s. And listened to it, and I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to mix now. And then got into that, and one of my best mates is actually really into like deep dubstep as well, and we just kind of like clicked on that. I actually played a back-to-back with my mate that's still into that genre as well at one of the Society back-to-back nights, and it was extremely fun.
So what goes into doing a back-to-back set? I've never done a back-to-back set because I always take I'm a Native Instruments user. So I always just rock up my equipment like Tractor, plonk. I'm one of those guys and plonks it on top of the CDJs and sets my laptop up and stuff. But doing back-to-back, it seems like it can be, you know, you got to know each other's music in a way, and you got to know how each other DJs in a way, kind of thing.
Yeah. I I've played a few back-to-backs before. Nothing too crazy. I think the last one I played was definitely a lot more technical than the other back-to-backs I've played. Like, my biggest show I've ever played was at Metro City for the Filth return. So, like, the first Filth after the lockdown stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And I was on open slot with a guy named Greg Rylands, which is Blackfowl.
Okay.
Like a basement OG. And that was one of the funnest sets we've ever played. But we got put on there, and like I knew of Greg, but I never like personally met him, or like I don't know, just like never knew him that well. And then we got booked together, and it just turned out that we didn't really have enough time in each other's schedules to practice. So we just started sending each other what we wanted to play, and then I was like, okay, I wanted to play that too. I guess we'll just like mix and match. And then we got up on the stage, and I made this really, really cool intro for the set with some like movie samples from from Prometheus.
Really? Okay.
Do you remember like the TED talk in that?
Yeah.
Where it's like talking about fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sampled that into like into a track I was like fiending at the time, and then I was like just letting that play out and then waiting to mix in, and he's just like, we had 4 like Nexus 2Ks, and he's just like, do you just want to go 4 for 4? And I was like, actually yes, like that works out really well, because like I get to do all my own blends, like get to do doubles and triples of my own like desire, and then I just pass it off to him, and he plays his bit and then pass it back to me, which is sick. And I've played back-to-backs before where it's like we play 3 tracks each, but they're all like in key, harmonically mixed, like meticulous cue points and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it's all worked out and it's all, ready to go kind of thing.
And then I've played like a deep dub back-to-back set, which was just absolute chaos, but it worked out. And it was hell fun. I don't know. I think there's definitely more I could work on being in like a back-to-back, but I think if you don't have that foundation of like solid mixing ability, it's kind of like hard to work with someone else. Yeah. And if they don't have the same kind of like speed to you, or like the same kind of music, it's just like if you're mixing 2 styles of the same genre that just don't clash, or they just don't mix very work well. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
So I was going to ask as well, like, how do you find your music these days? Like, because it's like everyone has their own different medium of trying to research in a way. Like, for me, I would always just like, I'd go out and I'd be one of those guys like holding my phone up, just like, what is this song? I have to know it. Or like, asking the DJ, or listening to mixes and then going through the track lists and stuff like that. But like,
I do honestly a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like, when I work out, I try to listen to like a new hour-long mix every time. And then I'll just like pause, hear something I like, I'll pause it and just be like, what was that? Or like go through a track list, or like make sure I Shazam it when I get home or something.
Yeah.
I go through like Beatport charts for like respective genres a lot, because I don't know, I feel like if you're not playing at least some of those in your sets, you're not gonna
see, I kind of gave up on Beatport a little bit. Only reason why I gave up on it though is just because like I kind of found that you had artists like David Guetta, and do you remember hearing about the scandal where Tiesto and David Guetta and like Alex and Ingrosso, Alison Grosso or whatever, I can't remember. But it's like what they were doing is their companies were actually buying their music on Beatport to raise it to the ranks.
Yeah.
So then they would get to like top 10 kind of thing. And then some of the tracks were just horrendous. And it's like, but I guess that's where you have to go into the subgenres, right? And actually like dive into what's going on.
I buy a lot of music from, not even that much music from Beatport anymore. Because a lot of the time, I'll buy music direct from artists, or like through Bandcamp, or trade music with like another producer or something. I don't know. It's just like, especially being like affiliated with like the Sub Era guys now, I get access to like the whole catalog and like
that's pretty good
future stuff as well. So
shout out to Josh and Ned if you guys are watching.
I get access to like a whole lot of that stuff. I can't play it, or shouldn't play it at sub-era gigs if they're playing after me. But yeah, there's like a heap of like liquid drum and bass and like 140s on there that are just really, really good.
Yeah.
And having access to stuff like that's really cool.
Well, the thing is, like, when I've interviewed them like multiple times and they've shown me like the new music coming out and stuff like that, it's just they're doing the right thing. Like their company Sub-Era is just, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's unique, but it's like it's different, but it's good in a way. It's like it's really good, and it's just they're just pushing the right thing. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm trying to plug them. Like, yeah, go check them out. Sub-Era. Damo will, like, send a link. So what if some of the, like, well, you also said, like, when you went and played one of your very first gigs, like, you got like butterflies in a way. How was it like? Because when I've interviewed new DJs to the scene, I've always said to them, it's like, the best thing you can do is throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah.
Because if you throw yourself in the deep end, then it's like, well, next time won't be as bad.
Yeah, I kind of had the same mentality. Like I got up into the booth at the first society I played, and I was terrified of like, what if I fuck up, like all that kind of stuff. And then I was just like, I'm not even going to focus on what the crowd is doing. I'm just going to do my own thing. And then it's like, played my set, got down, was like, hey, that wasn't bad. Like, that was fun. And then like the next one I played, I was just like, I'm not terrified of doing this anymore. I mean, like, I was a little bit like nervous about playing to like more people, but I was like, I know what to expect now. And like, I just got to focus on what I'm doing rather than whatever the crowd's doing. And then like when you get better, or like use like when you've got more experience doing that, you can, and you're like comfortable with your mix and everything like that, you can focus on crowd reaction and like, hyping them up and stuff. So
yeah,
I think it's just like a progression as a DJ and then as an artist to like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the people that headline wouldn't be headliners if they didn't have that kind of like crowd control, I suppose. Like, because if I've seen like big DJs before, especially like someone like Alex Perez or someone of that caliber, like amazing producer, amazing DJ, no crowd presence, but it doesn't matter because they're like just too insanely good.
That's
like,
it, yeah. But that's exactly it, though. It's like, it has to be a combination of both in a way.
Yeah.
But then some people just don't. Some people just get up and play their set and they just don't interact or do this or do that.
Yeah.
And some people just like hog the mic and just like, yeah, come on, everyone get up and like
I'm not
into it.
I'm not so much for the mic. I like singing along to like the tracks because most of the music I play I love. So like, I definitely like scream along to lyrics in a nightclub for sure.
Yeah,
but,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I definitely have a lot of fun doing it. Like, the Metro City show was like one of the funnest things I've ever done. I remember I had like a heap of friends there, and I remember like they took a few videos of me like mixing, and I doubled Rusco Woo Boost with Casper Ice Cold, and it's got that like Casper Ice Cold has that really, really cool pre-drop. Or like it's got like a 2-bar late drop and just like teasing in with Woo Boost and then like flipping that, and then like the because like the club was virtually full by then. I was like our last couple of songs, and just like the crowd reaction as I doubled that to like a few, like I don't know how many people were there that night. It was like at that time it was like at least over 1,000, and that's like the first time I'd ever played to that kind of a crowd.
Yeah.
I remember like halfway through our set, I'd like finish mixing in, pushing up a fader, and I was kind of like look up and I was like, that's a lot of people. It's like,
oh, holy shit.
Yeah, it's like,
where did they come from?
I just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Because it was like the first big dubstep night after like the whole COVID debacle. And like everyone was just like fiending for it. And like I was already super excited to play the show. And then like walking out onto the stage and just being like, yep, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Walking off, and I was just like, that was amazing.
Damo, can you actually play the video clip for Woo Boost? Just mute the audio.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen the music video for it, right?
Yeah.
It's an all-time classic.
Yeah.
Like, it is an absolute classic. But then, yeah, so like with the DJing and stuff like that, like how far would you want to take it, and like where would you want to go with it? Because like, you know, are you specifically locked into like deep dub and like, you know, the heavier kind of music, or would you kind of branch out and do other things? Because I mean, you showed us that you made some drum and bass music as well.
Yeah,
before,
so
and that shit was pretty lit, pretty cool.
I'm not taking a break from deep dubstep, but I still love it. But I'm just not getting booked as much for it anymore, which is fine because I'm trying to get into drum and bass a bit more because I enjoy producing drum and bass more. And just been getting into mixing drum and bass a lot more. My SoundCloud does not reflect that, but yeah, I've just been like, I haven't really focused on making many mixes lately. It's just more been hammering out some like production, and like I've been busy with uni anyway, so yeah. I'm definitely more into drum and bass at the moment, but it's not to say I don't love dubstep.
Yeah. And did you say prior as well that you've done SAE at all? Or?
Yeah, I'm doing currently. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing SAE and then you're also at uni.
No, that is uni.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like, holy shit, you're doing a degree and you're at another education facility. Like, how do you juggle that?
I just say uni because it's easier than being like, oh, it's a music college. Or something. People are like, okay.
Yeah. Some people are like that. For us, it's like, you know, it's pretty cool. Like, how would you rate SAE? Like, what course are you doing? And
so I'm doing the diploma in music production.
Isn't that what you did, Damo? But you did it at TAFE though?
I did Leaderville TAFE.
At Leaderville TAFE.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good. Like, I think fundamentally, if I hadn't have done it, I wouldn't be where I am with my producing at the moment. But I feel like I am glad I'm only doing the diploma because I feel like there's a lot of information that I don't necessarily need to know. It's not like it's a bad thing to know this like information. It's more just like interpersonal stuff within the industry, like how to talk to your manager or like all this stuff. And like, I don't even have a manager yet. Like, I manage myself.
And also, you were saying stuff like, you know, having like a minutes meeting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
like how to have a meeting with other artists or like how to collaborate and all that stuff. I mean, collaborating is kind of important, but like I don't really take minutes when I talk to other artists about collabs or anything. It's just like you have a message or like you know what you're talking about kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, having access to all of the gear at uni, like all of the studios and production equipment there is definitely beneficial. Like, before coming here, I was actually in the mastering suite there.
Oh, really?
They've got like $6,000 focal monitors and like a $30,000 SSL desk and like.
See, I've never listened to like really, really expensive monitors yet, and I've been waiting for the day where I could like, you know, just test a few tracks. Like, how would you say? It's just like it's just crystal clear, like clarity.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear everything. Like definitely. If it doesn't sound good on those, it won't sound good on anything else. Let me put it that way. Yeah. I mean, they've got like some like ridiculous reference hi-fi speakers in there as well. You can like A/B them with a little switch. It's good. It's a good experience for sure. And like, still trying to wrap my head around mastering, but yeah.
Well, that's what they all like. That's what some people say as well. It's like with your tracks, you know, sometimes it is better to send your track off to get mastered somewhere.
Yeah.
Because in that way, it's like it's an external source listening to your music.
Yeah, you don't really want to mix and master your own track. You can mix it, you can master it, but you don't want to do both.
Yeah.
I understand where you come from in that, but I'm just trying to learn the fundamentals of the process, I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely agree with.
Yeah, but that's like just because if you want to release the music, you don't want to mix and master it. If you want to learn, absolutely go. Hey, who gives a shit?
Yeah, for sure. Like if I'm releasing something this year, I am definitely not mastering it myself. Let me put it that way. Yeah, I still have heaps to learn, but I feel like I'm traveling pretty well. So,
how would you rate the course though as well? Like, would you recommend that for newcomers to the scene and stuff like that to try and get involved? Or
if you have bare bones knowledge in production and have no knowledge of music theory, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
If you understand music theory and you know your way around Ableton or Logic or like whatever, FL, whatever you're using, go do it through private sources. Go find a local producer and be like, send him a track and just be like, teach me how to do this better. Like, I think it's much more beneficial. Like, I've done private lessons with producers in Perth before, and like what I learn in like the 2 to 3 hours with them over like a semester at uni. I mean, comparatively, like what I learned in a semester in uni is like broken up into like different things, but like specifically, I did like 3 hours on mixing a track with like Harry Power, which is Confucius.
Okay.
Local drum and bass producer.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him before.
And yeah, I don't think I would understand mixing as well as I do without going to and speaking to him. And yeah, it was a great experience.
And so the teachers are all very helpful and like,
the teachers at uni are like good, like extremely good. But they're all like have their own.
The guy who runs this.
Which one?
Forensic audio mastering. Let me look.
I just completely forgot that we haven't even shared the video, by the way. But
yeah, it's
Damo, take the reins for a second whilst I share the
yeah,
video.
so this is no mind. It's operated by Simon Struthers. But yeah, so I assume that I heard that he does run that. Yeah, the guy you're talking about. He does run a mastering company.
Yeah.
I thought it was this one. Apologies.
Oh, good.
But yeah. So Harry True's what would you say is like would you say that the best thing you can do from there is just to simply ask the most from your lecturers, as in
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
My lecturers all kind of like have their own area of expertise.
Yeah.
Like last trimester, my lecturer for production was a dude that had releases on like Armin van Buren's label.
Okay.
And what was the other one? I don't know, some other like Belgian like hard house producer, I suppose. But yeah, fundamentally as like a producer, it was really good to learn basics from him because he knows how to create like virtually any sound. So it was like, how do I make like, you know, just like anything? And he's just like, oh, like this, but like gives you like
the
3 pages worth of feedback on like why you didn't do it correctly. And you're like, it was kind of disheartening at first, but instrumentally it was very good at teaching us the right way to do things. And then the lecturer I have at the moment for production is just like an incredible pianist, but I don't know how to play piano, so it's like it doesn't really mean anything to me. It's nice to like, it's like speaking. I know music theory, but not like as well versed as he does. So I'm like playing notes in Ableton, and he's just like, "That's not where it should be." I'm like, but why?
So yeah, like catching up on that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've actually found so baffling with like music theory almost as well. It's like with DJing and like in the Camelot wheel, a lot of people hate on me for saying this, but I found that like you harmonically mix, but then it's like my brother put it perfectly with drums. Drums don't really have a key. They can in a way. Would you say that's kind of correct? Like,
as far as my understanding is, drums don't have a key, but they have a tuning. So tuning not into like a musical key or a note, but into a frequency.
Yeah.
So if you look at like a spectrum analyzer, I think it's a certain note corresponds. So like say like C1, so like the first octave of C, corresponds to a certain frequency band. So like if your drum's fundamental frequency is say 220 hertz, which is like possibly a snare drum or a kick drum, that it corresponds to the musical key of the track. As far as I understand, that's how you mix drums and key. But I don't know how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah.
So like
exactly. Yeah.
So it sounds very extreme. I think that's going to the whole drum triggering sort of drum triggers.
Yeah.
Which is when you can do that, when you can actually change the drums sonically. However, that's through using actual like automation and whatnot on the drums rather than actual tuning.
Yeah.
You know, like these things are, something like this, which is. Basically, if you hit the drums, it triggers it
triggers
activates.
a sample.
Yeah, it activates a sample.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, I know a lot of metalcore bands use that kind of.
Yeah, they have to keep it that tight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Mixing in key, I don't do it a lot, but.
Yeah, so many people don't, honestly.
Yeah.
And like I said, like even I do and I don't. It just, when you're on the fly, because I freestyle every gig, I just open my laptop and go.
Yeah.
And when I do that, it's like, sometimes you're just trying to play with the crowd in a way rather than just trying to make it, make it all harmonically correct.
Yeah. I mean, I plan pretty much all of my sets, but it's more like I have, like 6 deep dubstep sets that I know back to front, and like a few drum and bass sets that I know back to front, and then I just mix and match them a lot, and then be like, still play the music that I want to play, and some of the doubles and stuff people know me to play, but I still get to freestyle with like new tracks that I like and stuff. So.
Yeah. But
there's generally when I double tracks, I try to keep it in key, just because it sounds way better.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing where it's like if you mix songs in key, it does sound generally better.
Although there is like an argument to be made with mixing in key, because a lot of the time some pretty heavy synthesized music, say like neurofunk or like heavy dubstep or something, musical key doesn't actually mean anything, because the sounds are so pitch bent over the duration of the sound that you can't at all figure out what the tuning of it is.
Yeah, what key it actually is.
So
in.
It's like a lot of the time it's more about the like duration of the note over the bar rather than the actual key of the
Yeah, you still got me. Like I'm getting a little bit lost, but I get you. Yeah. It is one of those things, because like for me, I've just been about DJing. I've never really I've tried to get into production, but it's just I tried to do production for like 4 years and just could not get my head around it. Like I make a 4-bar loop or 8-bar loop and just get lost in trying to actually like construct a track. Yeah. So how many tracks have you made though? Overall, like demos, tests, edits, remixes.
I couldn't give you an exact number. Finished tracks that I've made. I mean, not all of them are that great in quality, but probably around 50 or so.
It's not bad though. It's still pretty good.
I was told pretty early on when making music, finish your tracks. As much as you probably don't want to, just like at least finish it, because then you have something to mix and then you can learn from that. So like more like it's like compound interest on like your skill. So like the more you finish a track and understand that, I didn't do this good, I'm going to do that better next time, and understand how to like fix the problem, or like don't do this, etc. So I have finished a lot of music, and only recently am I kind of happy with some of the stuff I've been producing, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's all just like a learning curve. Like
for sure. It's pretty steep though, but
exactly. But it's like one of those things. It's like what I've said to other guests, where it's like if you pick up a guitar, you're not going to be Jimi Hendrix overnight. No one's going to be Jimi Hendrix overnight, unless you're like stupidly talented. But the thing is though, it's still like there's so much learning and experience behind it and everything to be able to even just like make music. Like
as far as I've heard, like a lot of artists that I've spoken to, it's like takes you 2 solid years at least to be really like good, and then 5 years to be like very, very good. So that's
it. You just got to practice your craft.
Yeah, exactly.
And it depends on how many hours you put in, like how much you can set away, and like the whole lot, because it's a full-time job basically.
Yeah.
And like once you get to that stage when you're actually making money off your music, that's when you got to really ham at it, like and just go full on at it. So I wanted to talk about the nightlife in Perth. So where do you think it's going in a way? Because if you're 25 now, you've seen like a few changes come and go, and like and how Capital's now a disco club, and like, just how things have adjusted in Perth.
I think there's a pretty like distinct split in two areas of the nightlife. So you've got like your happy house style of like event. I mean like not exclusive to like nighttime or daytime, because like during the summer you got like heaps of like day events like Pineapple Club, Banana Social, all that. And then like you've got like nightclubs like Nevermind and Magnet and
Geisha as well,
sometimes like Sea Paradiso, all that do, and like Lookout and all that do like, you know, happy house during the evening, or like, you know, sometimes Nevermind gets into like more like techie stuff and like a bit heavier like house subgenres. And then you've got like just the complete opposite, which is just like heavy drum and bass, heavy dubstep.
But it's just, we're in such a weird bubble almost, because it's like the three elements. It's like sing-alongs and pop music and stuff like that, house music and techno, and then it's drum and bass and dubstep. And then it's like just the spectrum almost, where it's like it gets heavy, but then at the same time it's like, you know, you go to places like Brass Monkey, or you go almost any other pub or bar or anything like that, and you're guaranteed to hear
pop.
Pop music.
I mean, I don't feel like any industry, or like any part of the industry at the moment is doing that poorly, considering the big like hit it just took over COVID.
That's it.
Like dubstep and drum and bass community and like pool of DJs, as far as I understand, is really healthy at the moment. Like everyone's doing well. Like I mean like Inhibit's getting to start back up now, like doing more events, trying to do more day parties and stuff. Like I mean, like look at what Harley and Emily have been doing with like all of the Motive stuff. Yeah,
shout out to those guys. They're doing Bunker now as well. Like they've got the retro wrapped up, honestly.
Like I think with Josh and Ned at Sub Era, I've played literally every one of their like club shows now, which has been super fun. Like their scene is definitely very healthy. Like also shout out to Damien and Jake from MS Promotions. I wouldn't be where I was today without those two. They're doing extremely well too.
Like Damien just pushed Filth into the limelight in a way. He just made that just its own thing almost. Like it's just the thing, like they had the Optus Stadium gig kind of thing. That was huge. Like
the HBF Stadium.
HBF, not Optus. HBF Stadium. For their like fifth birthday or something like that, or whatever it was.
That was mental.
Did you play that at all?
No, I did not. I had a mate that played it. Well, a lot of mates that played it, but that was big. It looked big from all the stories I saw. It was just off its shit kind of thing. It was a good night. But it's just like that's where the industry is at in a way. And it's also so crazy as well, the rise of the Bushdorf scene as well. I mean, because no one could do anything for a while anyway. I haven't played a Bushdorf yet.
Have you been to a Bushdorf at all?
Yes, I have. Not up here actually. I've been to a few down south.
Okay.
But wouldn't say no. Wouldn't say no to playing one. I think it'd be a bit of fun. Camp and play some music. I think it'd be cool.
Because they're just a unique experience in themselves in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, you know, it's not a nightclub, it's not a pub, it's not a bar. It's literally the bush.
I've been to a few down south. Most of them were in like wineries.
Really?
Or winery, but like just like winery estates, just like in the vineyards. So you like it's like big bush block and then like vineyards, and like all through the night there'd be people running around like in the vineyards. It was pretty crazy. Good vibe.
Well, they're all about good vibes.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so good. Like, shout out to the Pachamama crew and the others and stuff like that. And, like, Blossom Festival and everything. Like, they're literally all about just stomping out any dickheadery or anything like that. Just everyone goes there just to have a good time.
Yeah.
And if anything bad happens, they'll cable tie you. Well, they won't cable tie you to a tree, but I say it just because, like, you know, it's just don't be a dickhead in the bush, because otherwise they might if you're that much of a wanker. Yeah. So, where have you travelled and stuff like that as well? Because you were saying before, like, you've been to, like, Singapore and stuff like that. And when we talked about Japan and stuff.
Yeah, I've pretty well travelled, I guess. I've been Indonesia quite a lot. So, like, Bali, like, Jakarta. Been to Singapore. Been to Japan. Where else have I been? Been to Cocos Islands, Christmas Islands.
I want to talk about that. Like, can you bring that up, Damo? Like, so why is that place so weird? Because, I mean, it's got a population of 500 though, but...
So, context, I went there for, like, a family holiday, I guess, but it was, like, for a family friend's 50th birthday. I was still quite young, but it was definitely something I'll never forget because it was so odd. Like, some very, very strange experiences I had whilst there. Like, so it took ages to get there because, like, they can't land big planes there because the island's too small. So, like, it's, like, pretty small. Like,
it's 14 square kilometers.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's tiny. You can just walk around the whole thing in like an hour or something.
Yeah, probably take a bit longer than that. But yeah. Think of it as like Rottnest, but a bit skinnier, I suppose.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's nothing close to it. I think the closest island is Christmas Island. It's like over 800 kilometers north.
No.
Yeah, so it's a bit far.
So they just live off the land then, I guess, right? Or
as far as I understood whilst I was there, they get one plane a week of food and supplies. They have one shop and it's only open one day a week. They have one petrol station you can only fill up one day a week. I mean, there's like, I'd say maximum 20 cars on the island. But there's one pub and it's not open all the time either.
Of course, yeah.
I feel like the only reason you go there is for like the beach. Like, the surf was there, was okay. Like, it was more the environment you're in was pretty cool. Like, I remember going for a surf with my dad when I was there. We were surfing this break called Quarantines, and it was just like a beach break, but it was like a reefy, like, reef straight under you, and you like paddle out. And I'd never surfed in an island before. So I remember Dad forewarning me before going out there, and he's just like, "Don't paddle out too far; you'll get sucked out into the Indian Ocean." So, thank you for telling me that.
yeah. I'll take that on my, take note.
I remember sitting. I just, like, the first time I've ever been to, like, apart from Bali, but I wouldn't really exactly call that tropical waters.
No, it's Bali.
Yeah. Surfing like tropical reef like that, because it's like virtually untouched. And like sitting out, there's fairly deep water, and just like this big black shadow swims under me.
Oh my God.
And
really?
I was like terrified.
Yeah, it's a shark or?
No.
Okay.
So I like caught the next wave in, or like where my dad was. I was like, "Did you see that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it was a manta ray." And I was like,
oh fuck.
Yeah, but it was like, like 3.5 meter wingspan, like giant.
Yeah, that's pretty hectic.
And the thing about the surf break we're at, Quarantines, is that Cocos, that part of the island, is actually used as like a quarantine spot for zoo animals.
Okay.
So we're like surfing, and there's like just a giraffe popping its head over the fence, and you're like,
like, what the fuck?
Just like, we're like, there's this big like razor wired fence, and we're like, what's this for? Like, just like had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And then like you just start to hear like African animal noises. It's like, where are we?
Yeah, what's going on?
What is this place?
It's a unique island.
Yeah, there's just crabs everywhere. Yeah, no, it's just a strange place. I mean,
would you ever go back?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're making me want to check it out.
Yeah,
Go
just-
see like giraffes again.
It's like one of the most bizarre places I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I've also been to like a few places in Europe, like the Netherlands and like Amsterdam and
Did you go out night clubbing or pubbing or barring? 'Cause
Yeah,
you said
yeah.
you went to Rampage and stuff like that, but like anything else as well? Or
we went to an event in Amsterdam called Cheeky Mondays. So
Okay.
like a club called Melkweg. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Amsterdam was another like debacle being quite tall because a lot of the buildings are like lopsided and squashed.
really?
Yeah, there's like a few buildings that like I'd go down into the basement to go to the toilet and I couldn't stand up straight.
No shit. So you had like
Yeah.
kind of like on an angle or squatting away.
Yeah, it's quite annoying. And all the staircases are like virtually vertical.
Really?
Yeah, like they just don't have the luxury of space there because you're like, they build on a very narrow road because there's canals everywhere. So like stories go up instead of like wider. Yeah.
How would you rate the nightlife and stuff like that over there? Like compare, because it's like what I was saying before. It's like we're in a bubble in a way.
Yeah.
And like
I mean, when I was over there, it was definitely not like pre-COVID, so it was good. Definitely different.
but like more housey, would you say, or like
no.
trancey and stuff? Like what type of genres and everything?
The first bar I went to in Antwerp was playing drum and bass.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't think it's like that common an occurrence there. Maybe we just got lucky, but I don't know. There was like, this like bars was just kind of, I didn't really even take notice of the music, to be honest. Like it was just busy. Like I don't know, just like drinking beers, talking shit.
That's it.
Like,
Just being on holiday kind of thing.
Like I wasn't really too focused on the music. I was just having fun. Yeah, I mean the only experience I had over there in terms of music was like Rampage and like a few nightclubs, but like we kind of did our research on what we were going there for anyway. So
Yeah.
I can't speak for like the whole music scene over there as a whole, but
How long were you over there for?
nearly 3 weeks. So I had 3 or 4 days in Amsterdam before we went to Antwerp for Rampage, and then the weekend of Rampage was like, I think it was a Friday night and a Saturday night, so it finished on a Sunday, and we were there from Wednesday, I believe, just checking out everything. Yeah, I don't know, just did touristy stuff.
I mean, 3 weeks is not even that long, to be honest.
No,
like,
it was,
people go over there for 6 months, kind of thing.
yeah. No,
Or at least they used to.
Yeah, it was good. Like, got to see heaps of touristy stuff. Got lost in giant museums a few times. Got to go to the Heineken brewery. I didn't really think it was that special, to be honest.
Really? It's
Yeah.
just your normal brewery kind of thing?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't think I like Heineken that much.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. in a way.
What else did we do over there? Yeah, Antwerp was strange. Like you're like walking down like any main street, and like every second or third shop just sells diamonds for some reason.
What?
Yeah, it was like thousands of jewelers just everywhere. Like it didn't know why. Like
Yeah. That's interesting, you know. Like whenever I've talked to people about it, like, oh, you know, the red light district and the entertainment areas and this and that, but all right, jewelers. No.
yeah, I mean Amsterdam, definitely has all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we stayed in like a pretty cool part of Amsterdam as well. You had to like take like it was like 5 minutes from the CBD, but you had to take like a ferry across a river or a canal, like a really long canal, and it only took like 2 to 3 minutes to get across. But like just the ferry ran every like 5 minutes, so it was great. Yeah. And like it was also very cold when we were there too. It was like middle of winter, and it was like
snowing at all, or
I think it was a little bit too late in the year for snow, because I think it was March, but it was still very cold and wet. Yeah. Like I had a jacket on, like a waterproof jacket on most days, because it was like everything was wet. And if you've never been there before, watch out for cyclists, because
they're just everywhere.
Oh yeah, if you don't respect them, you'll get run over. Like
no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. And what about Singapore? How was Singapore and everything?
Singapore was cool. It was like us. I think I was there for like 4 or 5 days before coming back to Perth, because we went there just after we'd been in Japan. That was it was cool. Cool food scene.
Yeah.
Alcohol's damn expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause isn't it supposed to be like market city kind of thing, like a marketplace?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because wasn't it, Damo, you would know this, wasn't it like a trading hub back in the day?
Yeah, it was.
Still is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still is a trading hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very multicultural.
Mm.
Like there's like suburbs in their city that have like one's like Little India, Little Delhi, like
Really?
yeah, just like cool like fusion of some foods there as well. It was like cool place to be. It's quite expensive to be there though. Apparently it's like one of the most expensive cities to live in the world. But,
Well, it's the same thing with Hong Kong. Like when I've been there, like I would love to live in Hong Kong, but the problem is like unless you're rich, there's no point.
Yeah.
Like you got to be wealthy to live in a place like that, because
Yeah.
otherwise you'll just be in amongst like the slums almost, basically. But
Yeah, Singapore is fairly similar, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Singapore was cool. I just did touristy stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really think there's much of a nightlife there to begin with, anyway. So,
what does that say, Damo?
It's about, for a 4-person family, it's about, apparently the average cost of living in Singapore is, excluding rent, $600 American dollars a month.
A month.
A month.
That's not that much.
That's not
though.
bad. Not bad.
But what does it say about higher living though? It's 4,000.
Well, that's if you have a family of 4. 4-person family is about 3,200 a month. Apparently, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
that bad.
it's expensive.
Not as bad as I thought.
But
Yeah.
it's still pretty expensive. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
who knows?
Compare Perth to that.
It's pretty good. Oh,
Yeah.
I fucking know.
All right, so we've only got like around 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
So yeah. So with your DJing, where do you want to take it? And like, where do you want to go with it if you can? Like, what's? I mean, it's hard to say. You know, what's your all-end goal, because there is no all-end goal. It's playing music kind of thing. But
Yeah.
where would you potentially want to go with it?
I mean, I'd like to be successful, but to what end, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna do what I want and see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, just take
Like,
gigs on and just keep playing out and
Just
about.
see what happens. I mean, like, yeah, I'm definitely ambitious, but I'm not gonna do anything I don't particularly want to do, and I'm just gonna support things that I feel like deserve it, I guess. So
Well, that's
don't
the
know.
way to do it, though. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's a few people have said this to me, but it's kind of the opposite for me. But it's like, well, it's not the opposite, but it's like, keep doing it, right? And then when it starts to feel like a job, change it up a bit to make it not feel like a job.
yeah,
But then, like, for me, it's like, I've explained this so many times. Like, if I have to go out and play Dancing Queen every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, well, I have to do it, because this is all I do. You know, I'm a full-time DJ. So, like, if I don't do that, well, I don't get booked, because I don't start dance floors and I don't play Venga Boys and shit. Like,
yeah.
but then with you get the luck of the draw, because you get to play the music you want to play. I mean, like, I have to say, I do love playing, not Venga Boys, but other stuff. Like, you know, because you get the crowd going, and it's an experience to be able to create the memories and have people having fun. But like, when you actually get to go and play, you know, heavy kind of stuff out and about, or drum and bass, or this or that, you know, it's you're curating your set.
Yeah.
But then with that, it's like, you know, like, oh, I don't know where I was going with that. I was going somewhere with that. I can't remember where I was going with that.
What, just try and make it like fun. Otherwise, if you turn your passion or love into a job, you end up killing what you once loved.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you could do it full time, would you do it full time in a way, or? Because it's a bit hard to do full time when you do like 1 hour sets, 2 hour sets, and stuff like that. But
I don't know. It's hard. I don't particularly want to play top 40 like stuff, but
that's completely understandable, though.
Yeah, I feel like because I already have a trade, like I feel like it's more beneficial for me to like spend my time, other than the sets that I want to play, working where I might make the same money if not more as like a full-time DJ. So I'm happy what I'm doing right now, and like I don't particularly work a lot at the moment anyway because I'm doing uni. But yeah, I'm happy with like what's going on at the moment, and if I become more successful and get more bookings and or releases or whatever,
it's just part of it kind of thing.
So be it. I don't know, just take it as it comes. I'm not too like stressed about, I don't know, like, you know, I want to be here within next year or something. I don't know. I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to go about it though. Instead of going like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because it's like sometimes that stuff doesn't happen. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to like get my hopes up or anything, or like, I don't know. I don't want to be disappointed if I don't like reach something. I'm just going to see what happens and have fun with it, I guess.
Yeah. And so I was explaining this demo the other day, I'm pretty sure, where it's like, you know, like I'd love to own a Porsche, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Yeah. It's like you got to live within your constraints in a way. And it's like you got to realize what's going on.
Live below your means, I guess.
That's it, yeah. Because, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, who wouldn't want to own a Porsche or a Ferrari or Lamborghini? But the thing is, like, the chances of, like, owning a, you know, multi-million-dollar mansion and doing this and doing that, it's like, we're not in the 5%, unfortunately, you know? Like, and, like, some people are very lucky, you know? Some people just invest in Bitcoin and they walk away with $4 million or whatever the case is. But, like, you know, but for us, though, it's like, you know, the average Joe Blow, we just have fun.
Yeah.
Just enjoy life while you can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and just take it as it comes and just see what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to end the.
Yeah, we should wrap it up.
It's beautiful.
All right.
Also,
do we have any comments or anything?
We have a couple. I was about to say we have good old Charlie Pope with some love reacts. We got Joshua Crofton going aloof. Love her.
Yeah. Shout out to both of them.
And we got Tim Preston going, nice one. Always loving Tim. Well, Tim thinks everything we do is nice, which is why we love Tim Preston.
Tim is an amazing bloke. Yeah.
He is a great boy. And Josh Vandermeer goes, I want to hear some unreleased Aloof deep dubs. In fact, I think that's the perfect way.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sorry to disappoint you, Josh. It's drum and bass, but you can have a listen if you like.
You want us to still play it anyway, though?
Yeah, go for it.
We're going to disappoint Josh.
Josh, hit my DMs if you want to hear more, bud.
All right. Let us enjoy. Before we start, let me just make sure we're ready. Gotta get it ready first, of course. All right. So, you want to tell us a bit about this track, my friend?
This was actually a demo because I was supposed to get a vocalist on it for a uni project, and then it didn't work out, unfortunately. But we do have something else in the works in terms of a jungle track together. But I'm not entirely sure what to do with this one now, so I'm just gonna keep chipping away at it, and need some like vocals or samples on it. But
it's a work in progress, eh?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a work of love.
Fundamentally, like, the elements are there, it just needs some polishing.
It's not bad though.
No, it's very nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's got a fun little like jungle switch close to the end. That's my favourite bit.
Well, just before we wrap it up, we should talk about a little bit about networking and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And so how long did it take for you to make this track?
I don't know.
Because I'm just baffled. Like, some people get tracks out in 3 days, like 2 days, 1 day. Like, that's not bad though. This break here.
I don't know. I can probably finish something like this in a day, but yeah, I don't know. It could definitely be better, but I don't know.
It's still good though. Like, I can get down to this. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I think if I spent like a solid week of like producing one track, I could get like something marginally or like actually probably infinitely better. But a lot of the time I get really fatigued of listening to the same track and try to work on multiple ones to try and keep it like fresh in my ears. But
see, that's the same problem I had as well.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make something, and it's just like fatigue, I guess you could say, where it's just like I can't keep listening to the same noise again over and over and over again for like 2 hours and just trying to make something out of it, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I have to like, if I'm producing a track like all day, I have to constantly like every hour or two swap headphones.
Oh, really?
Because like I just can't sit there and listen to the same loop or section on like, I have to like swap between like closed back and open back headphones because it just like really, I don't know, hurts my ears, I guess.
Yeah, no,
I just
I
get
can-
like
yeah.
orally fatigued and like I'll do like 4 to 6 hours and then I just can't do anymore. Like it was,
Well, 4 to 6 hours is a long time sitting in front of the computer. Like,
yeah, I get distracted a lot though.
yeah. Well, don't we all? Though?
Yeah.
So with networking, we can go a little bit into that. So how important would you say, like, because you've as you said, you moved from Margaret River to Perth and you started networking a bit, like you went into Lab 6 and stuff like that. How important would you say it is for someone trying to break out into the industry in a way? Because like a lot of people...
I mean, yes, it's definitely important, but I think in terms of if you're trying to get into the industry, actions definitely speak louder than words. Like, yes, someone else may know an event promoter or someone who runs the event or something, but like if your mixing or your music or something is better in some way, like you will get noticed. You just have to pick your time to talk to people and don't be afraid to send people mixes. Don't be afraid to talk to people at events. And a really easy way to network is, or like say there's an event you want to play at, or that you really like the vibe or something. Really, really easy way to become a part of that is to support it. So attend all of their events. Make yourself known. If you don't make yourself known and send people mixes, how are they ever going to know who you are? Like
That's exactly it.
They're not ever going to, like, I mean, it could happen, but they're not ever going to be like, oh, maybe I'll go onto SoundCloud and look at all of Perth's local DJs today. Like, unless someone like physically links them your profile, they're not going to be like, oh, maybe this guy with 100 followers is like someone I want to get to play my events. It's like you've got to make yourself known.
That's it.
And I think definitely making friends in between all of that is a great idea. But I mean, don't go out of your way for people in this industry that won't do the same for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing as well. It can be such a toxic culture, but at the same time, it can be such a loving and embracing and like amazing culture. And it's just like wading through and being like figuring out, it's okay, and stop hanging out with them because they're doing that or whatever the case is. But it's just like, as you said, going to the gigs, supporting the events, and just having fun in the process. You know, like you can't just go to one gig and expect to get the gig.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go to like 4, 5, 6, 7, who knows how many, and just keep socializing, keep networking, and just do your thing.
Also, another thing to remember is don't be disheartened if you get knocked back. It's all good.
That's it. Yeah.
It's all good. Just try again.
Yeah. Some people really do though. It's like I went there and I put my hand up and then they said no, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just have fun and keep doing your thing. Like, 100% agree with that. So yeah. All right, we should wrap it up.
That's beautiful, man. We wrapped it.
All right. Second time trying to wrap. Well, not trying to wrap it, but you know.
Well, hey, man. God damn, the second time trying to wrap up was even better than the first.
So next week we've got Joan and the Giants coming on, who've actually played. They're a band, right?
Yeah.
They played on ABC, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they've played all around WA, I'm pretty sure. Like, they're a pretty big name from what I can gather. And they actually emailed me. So I was like, yeah, I'll have you on. Yes, please. Like,
Sweet.
yeah. And then we've also got James Connolly and the Hoff, Simon Hoff. I think his last name's the Hoff. Yeah.
The Hoff.
Yeah. James Connolly, because we've got Tuesday and Wednesday, because James had to reschedule because of family issues and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
those guys, like, James has helped open up so many different pubs and bars in Perth. Like,
Yeah, sweet.
he's been in the industry for like, I think like 15 years or something like that.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, he's actually he's been flown over to Sydney to open a bar and all sorts of stuff, and then come back, like a different part of the chain of the bar and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. And he was voted in Australia's top 25 not DJs, top 25 bartenders. So
Oh, shit.
yeah, he's quite up there. Like,
Yeah.
very, very impressive resume in a
sweet,
way.
man.
And he's a very cool bloke as well. And I actually get to work with him at the ARC group, which is like market grounds and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
right. Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So very excited for next week. So yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. And so this is episode 71.
Yeah.
71, yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, honestly.
No problem. It was a
Like,
pleasure.
this has been good though, you know. We've
Yeah,
learned
good
quite a
fun.
lot, and we've got to discuss quite a lot as well, and
Yeah.
just got to hang out. Yeah.
Sweet.
And then you don't forget, you get to sign the wall. Damo, pull the wall up.
Yep.
Yeah, your head's in the wall.
There you go.
So just not every episode, but like almost every episode, I do a shout out to Roberta. She made that wall. Pull that wall back up. It's just makes it feel like a studio. Like, I'm so happy with how that came out. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday anyway. So yeah. And Damo's gonna make me wave at the camera.
Yes, I am. Please wave at the camera.
No, we gotta wave at the camera. He makes us wave.
I was thinking to know it's over.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. So yeah, thank you once again.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Bye.
Yeah. Catch ya.